What is so wrong with the Nigerian president coming to St. Lucia? And they're asking, what is in it for us?
Okay, and I'm glad that you're raising that question. But the other thing too, Lisa, we've accepted Nollywood. We have Nigerian movies playing all over.
Afrobeats.
Afrobeats. We accept them when they come and they are performing all their great hits.
They were at
right?
Jazz last
at
year.
Jazz last year, this year, and I'm sure they're going to be at Jazz again next year.
No
I mean,
question
there was
about
just an
that.
MOU signed between the two countries to be able to make that happen even more. We accept Cora. Remember Cora?
Yes.
OBD?
Oh.
Remember that social influencer who we all love? She made a whole song about St. Lucia, and she was promoting St. Lucia Carnival.
was, exactly.
And you know, it was Cora. Where's Cora from? Where's
Nigeria.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nigeria.
So here we are. I mean, you know, a very interesting thing too that the lead up to this visit, just last week, we lost one of our great, we buried one of our great artists and sculptors, Mr. Victor Udovic, right? And originally from Babono. But guess what? And his son Jalim, in fact, shared this with me, that his father went to Nigeria in the 70s. And this is where he, in fact, understudied Nigerian sculptors, right? And this is how he developed his craft, which he was then able to bring back to St. Lucia to teach other sculptors, like his son, like many others, right? Set up Udovic's studio, art studio, is a staple for any person visiting St. Lucia. And so you're already seeing that, look, there's so much in terms that can be achieved by way of cultural exchange. Nigeria is right now at a point where they are trying to claw back a lot of their stolen heritage artifacts that were taken away during the British occupation, sent to Europe in different museums. And just last week again, on the eve of this visit, we saw a museum in the Netherlands repatriating over 100 artifacts of these Benin bronzes, some of the most ornate bronze sculptures in the world, coming back finally to Nigeria. And that lost culture and all these various talents in terms of the materials, the fashion. There's so much that we can gain from this reconnection with Africa. And it is so unfortunate that we have to be dealing with such myopia and misdirection at a time like this from people who know far better. Far better. And that is very sad about it, because we are trying to, I would like to believe that we would like to see an upliftment of the level of dialogue, the level of debate, the level of discourse on national development. But for us to be dealing with these silly, aspersions and accusations and the timing, if we go back, Lisa, if you go back and you remember, we've had 3 Taiwanese presidents visit St. Lucia. And you recall, there's Chen Shui-bian, who came under the United Workers' Party government when they were there. There was later on Ma Ying-jeou, who came under the Kenyatta administration. And this last one was Miss Tsai Ing-wen, who came during the Shastri administration. And if you link back a little bit, there was that whole issue when President Chen came over red envelopes and question marks around that. Guess what? President Chen Shui-bian ended up being imprisoned in Taiwan. A president of Taiwan ended up being imprisoned, who visited St. Lucia, right? Now, is it that we're going to say, well, we're no longer going to deal with Taiwan because one of their presidents was jailed for corruption and all sorts of things? All countries have their issues, their internal challenges. There's no doubt about it that Nigeria has had a very tumultuous, like a lot of Africa, it's had a very tumultuous history. Still, in some parts, still a lot of challenges in terms of stability, in terms of issues of corruption. But we have to break that narrative and realize that a lot of what we're saying of Africa exists everywhere else in the world.
But Calix,
and it is a deliberate level of propaganda that is being pushed.
Speaking of corruption, they're talking about us dealing with people who are accused of corruption in their own country. These people partnered with a known criminal to bring our citizenship investment program into disrepute internationally. the one that the judges called a fraudster or fraud, they partnered with that individual and for weeks on end, months on end, tormented St. Lucians globally when we should have been celebrating our achievements with Julian Alfred and St. Lucia Kings. And these people were so negative because it seemed that they have a problem with loving themselves. They partnered with this known criminal, yet the president is coming. And technician, we have some photos from the sitting of Parliament, and it also includes the president receiving a special award, and that is in folder 6. We can put some of these, we can just run some of these on the screen because we want to really show you, St. Lucia, what looking at yourself in the mirror is all about. You have those? Yes, yes. This gentleman, you can say, okay, he was accused of this, that, and the other. This is not new, Calix. And you would be well informed as to certain individuals who never even set foot in St. Lucia receiving this same St. Lucia Cross Medal by the former Prime Minister.
Yeah, I think he's right. He's receiving, yes, he's being knighted by the Governor General as the Knight Commander of St. Lucia. And it is very common, Lisa, that visiting heads of state are accorded honors as a form of deepening that kind of connection between the head of state and that another country. Lisa, Mr. Narendra Modi is not liked by many in India.
Exactly.
Right? There are a lot of accusations, a lot of issues. He's part of the BJP, which sometimes people say is geared towards a Hindu agenda, Hindu nationalist agenda. All that is fine. But the reality is, when we are dealing with diplomatic relations and building diplomatic relations, we have to respect office holders. We have to respect the individuals who are in office. As it is right now, for example, if we have to deal with the United States of America, we have to deal with Mr. Donald Trump. He is the elected president. And we have to respect the institutions of a country.
Exactly.
And if we are going to be building long-term relations with Africa and with Nigeria, we have to respect the office holder at that time, right? Nigeria as a system, you can only get 2 terms as a president, right? You've got to bound, just like in the United States of America and others. And does that mean that we're going to stop diplomatic relations now if we don't like the particular president or no? We have to be serious about this agenda. It is about the people. It is about developing people. And the idea that we are continuing to perpetuate that there is nothing good in Africa has to stop. It is an old, dated, self-hating, self-loathing agenda which we are still pushing up to a day like today. Very, very unfortunate, of course, that we are witnessing it being used by the opposition in this way, playing on the lack of understanding, the lack of awareness that exists. And I really hope moving forward now as a country that the government has to set an agenda for greater public education, greater understanding, greater cultural exchange. And you heard what the president of Nigeria was offering, scholarships to Nigeria. And that's really important. That's really important, Lisa, because that's how we can then begin to really make those connections. Could you just imagine if you now have 100 students who've gone across to study in Nigeria? Could you just imagine now if they can now speak one of many of the over 200 languages that exist in Nigeria, and being able to actually communicate and make those business links and make those things happen and create business opportunities. And that is how we can then build up our own connections with Africa.
Indeed.